Hey, what is up guys? Bo HD here, and BLU is back with a brand new sub $300 smartphone for GSM carriers like AT&T and T-Mobile. Those are the big ones. As with many of BLU's previous smartphones, this phone is going to be something that you're probably going to want to seriously consider given its rich feature set, like wireless charging, you got quad cameras, you have a micro SD card slot for expandable storage, and a 6.7-inch infinity dot display. The list goes on. And they're actually going to knock off $100 from the price of this phone for a special launch deal, and they're giving the first few hundred buyers who purchase the G91 Pro a pair of their wireless earpods. So links below if you want to check this deal out on Amazon. Now, BLU sent me this product to review. No contract was signed, no money was received, so I can be honest with you guys. They did provide this press kit, which includes a lovely little handwritten letter from the BLU team. That's pretty cute. I appreciate that. We have the G91 Pro smartphone itself off to the left-hand side. There's BLU's Aria Pod Plus $30 wireless earphones, as well as the standard Aria pods. They gave me a coffee mug because I'm a coffee fanatic. They know that. And then last but not least, they gave me a black t-shirt with some BLU paraphernalia on it. I love me some black shirts, so that's a nice touch. Once again, appreciate that, BLU. But let's turn our attention back to the star of the show, the G91 Pro. One of my favorite things about BLU products just in general that's held up over the years of checking their products out is all of the goodies you get in the box. While the big smartphone players, you know, Samsung, Apple, they've been getting rid of things like the freaking wall charger adapter. Well, BLU gives you that and a whole lot more. So along with the G91 Pro itself, we have a USB wall adapter, which again is a rare item nowadays, unfortunately. We have a braided USB-C charging cable. There's a pair of earphones with removable tips, a SIM card ejector tool. You've got a BLU sticker, some paperwork to help you get this phone set up and running smoothly, a protective case, and a screen protector. So that's quite a lot of included contents to help round out your investment. Now, the G91 Pro, upon first impressions, it has a fairly ergonomic design, but it's going to be on the big side because it houses a massive 6.7-inch display. The build looks to consist mostly of plastic, but the rear has a frosted matte texture to it to make it feel pretty similar to the frosted glass design found in more premium smartphones. And I will say, it is pretty darn slippery, so you're probably going to want to throw it into the included case. Now we have the quad camera module in the upper left-hand corner. There's a micro SD card slot for expandable storage, which is always great to see. And then we have a 3.5 millimeter headphone port down below, which is also a treat. You don't see that every day. It's just another thing that BLU's keeping around, and I love to see it. So let's turn our attention to the 6.7-inch display. This display features a 1080 by 2400 resolution and a eye-pleasing, retina-pleasing 395 pixel per inch index. I gotta say, in all honesty, this is one of the nicest displays I've seen on a BLU smartphone. It gets nice and bright, although it could, you know, get brighter outdoors. I did have some issues seeing the display when taking photos in direct sunlight, but that's kind of an issue with almost any smartphone display. Colors are really saturated and vibrant, but most importantly, content appears crisp and detailed. The pixel density is high enough where you're not going to notice individual pixels even when viewing content up close. And also, I gotta say, the viewing angles are surprisingly great. I haven't noticed too much color shifting when viewing at an angle. Overall, not too shabby of a display. For security, there is a rear-mounted fingerprint scanner, which is going to be one of the most secure methods of locking your phone. But there's also a face unlock method in the settings, as well as your standard PIN and password backup. Under the hood is a MediaTek Helio G90 octa-core processor paired with 6 GB of RAM. In some of the press photos, BLU is highlighting its compatibility with Fortnite, so it's clear that they've made gaming a pretty high priority with this smartphone. So one of the first things I did was I downloaded and installed Fortnite, which is, you know, it's going to take some time. It's like 10 gigabytes. But I noticed it runs the game pretty well with fairly minimal lag. I'm actually not the biggest Fortnite player, but my very first game I played on this phone, I killed like 3 players right away. I did better than I ever did before. I don't know what phones the players I killed were rocking, but the G91 Pro did well for me. I definitely got to give this device some credit for those takedowns. With that said, I'm still not the biggest fan of BLU's software skin running on top of in this case, Android 11. It still feels a little jerky at times, and the animations when opening up menus can also just appear a bit antiquated. I do like the flat icons and notification tray, including the quick settings icons, but as a whole, I think it could still use some more refinement. In terms of the camera optics, this phone comes equipped with a 48 megapixel main sensor with a 2 megapixel depth sensor, 5 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, and a 2 megapixel macro sensor. So basically just a main sensor and an ultra wide sensor. I hate to even mention depth and macro sensors because they are pretty much just there to inflate the specs on paper. Now, I went and walked around my home and took some photos to test this camera out. Nothing too crazy, just wanted to get a first impressions look and feel of how this camera performs. And I would say upon first impressions, image quality is definitely usable, passable. You know, some shots can be hit or miss. I think some of the shadows were crushed. The blacks were crushed more than they probably should have been. But you can get some pretty good results, and you do have a ton of features to really help round out the camera, like portrait mode, you have panorama, there's even a pro mode to fine-tune the settings and controls. I will let you be the judge of the images and the image quality, but I would say just don't expect too much or you will probably be underwhelmed. Just keep in mind this phone is $150 to $250, not too much in the grand scheme of things. And one of my favorite surprise features has to be the 10-watt wireless charging support. You don't see that too often in phones in this price range. It also features 30-watt quick charging and a massive 5,000 milliamp hour battery that should easily last you a full day with moderate to heavy usage and a good amount of Fortnite gameplay. So given the feature set of this phone, the look and feel, I think it's pretty hard not to recommend this device given its relatively inexpensive $250 price. If you're looking for a new budget smartphone for AT&T or T-Mobile, I think you're going to be hard-pressed to find a phone that offers as many features as this one does. And if you're able to score this phone for $100 off for this limited launch deal, I think it's a steal. I think you'll be happy. I love how BLU offers these launch deals because it sort of rewards you guys, my subscribers, with a sweet deal. Because it's a limited time thing, you kind of got to get it while it lasts. And you're really only going to know about it if you're subscribed to my channel. But let me know if you have any questions or concerns in the comments. And if you'd like to see a video about the AriaPod wireless earphones, let me know as well. With that said, guys, I'm BoHD from Slash.tv. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you right back here in the next one. See ya.